Hello, welcome to Project 315 YouTube channel. I'm Todd. I want to jump into in this video Psalm 136. This was part of my daily Bible reading this morning, and it started me thinking. I saw some things in it that maybe I hadn't noticed before, hadn't really thought about before. I wanted to get on here and share. Um, I want to read the whole thing. It's 26 verses. It's not that long. I'm going to read it from the Legacy Standard Bible, which is my Bible of choice this year. It's the one that I do my daily reading with. It's the one that I do my study with for this year. Prior to that, I was using the ESV, the English Standard Version. So as after we read through this, I'm going to open up parallel copies. I'll have the LSB, the ESV, and the good old King James version, uh, which is a solid version in its own right, and it especially in the Psalms and in the wisdom literature, that the poetic language of the King James, it just really stands out, and it's beautiful. Um, but I want to compare the three because they speak something a little bit different in each one. They each translate a Hebrew word a little bit differently, but you can get more of the meaning by looking at all three of them. So let's just go ahead and read. I'll share it on screen with you so you can see what I'm reading. This is Psalm 136. Give thanks to Yahweh, for he is good, for his loving kindness endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods, for his loving kindness endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords, for his loving kindness endures forever. To him alone who does great wonders, for his loving kindness endures forever. To him who made the heavens with skill, for his loving kindness endures forever. To him who spread out the earth above the waters, for his loving kindness endures forever. To him who made the great lights, for his loving kindness endures forever. The sun to rule by day, for his loving kindness endures forever. The moon and stars to rule by night, for his loving kindness endures forever. To him who struck the Egyptians through their firstborn, for his loving kindness endures forever. Then brought Israel out from their midst, for his loving kindness endures forever. With a strong hand and an outstretched arm, for his loving kindness endures forever. To him who divided the Red Sea in two, for his loving kindness endures forever. And made Israel pass through the midst of it, for his loving kindness endures forever. But he overthrew Pharaoh and his army in the Red Sea, for his loving kindness endures forever. To him who led his people through the wilderness, for his loving kindness endures forever. To him who struck great kings, for his loving kindness endures forever, and killed mighty kings, for his loving kindness endures forever. Sihon, king of the Amorites, excuse me, for his loving kindness endures forever. And Og, king of Bashan, for his loving kindness endures forever. And gave their land as an inheritance, for his loving kindness endures forever. Even an inheritance to Israel, his servant, for his loving kindness endures forever. Who remembered us in our low estate, for his loving kindness endures forever, and has snatched us from our adversaries, for his loving kindness endures forever. Who gives food to all flesh, for his loving kindness endures forever. Give thanks to the God of heaven, for his loving kindness endures forever. Now that's it. That's the 26 verses, and you've seen, if you've read through this at all before, this psalm stands out because the second half of every verse says, for his, in the LSB it says, for his loving kindness endures forever. And I can remember early on reading this. I mean, dutifully reading it as part of my daily Bible reading, and it just not really sticking with me. Um, because it just keeps repeating that same phrase over and over and over again. And to be honest, maybe sometimes you just get tired of reading the same words over and over and over again in a short psalm like this one. But this morning it hit different. This morning it really hit different. Um, because what I realized when I was reading this morning um, is if you break this psalm down and you read like the first 3 verses, verses 1 through 3, we're giving thanks to God for who he is. In verses 1 through 3, it says, um, Yahweh is good. He is the God of gods. He's the Lord of lords. We're giving thanks to him for who he is. And why we're giving thanks to him for who he is for his loving kindness endures forever. Now, in verses 4 through 24, we're giving thanks to God for what he has done. He does great wonders. He made the heavens. Um, he spread out the earth. He made the great lights, the sun, the moon, and stars. He struck the Egyptians. He led Israel out of their midst with, with a strong hand and outstretched arm. He divided the Red Sea. These things are reminder passages to the people of Israel of the things that one verses 1 through 3 who God is, and 2 verses 4 through 24 what he has done. The reminders to give thanks to him for who he is and what he's done. And the reason why we give that thanks is because his loving kindness endures forever. And it's shown through the history of the nation of Israel that his loving kindness was always with them. And I told you I'm going to bring up some parallel versions, and I will in just a minute, but I want to get through this part. Verse 25 says to give, let's go to verse 25. We're giving thanks to God who gives food to all flesh. That's like he's giving it now to all flesh. He gives food to all flesh. Why? Because his loving kindness endures forever. So we've thanked God. We're giving thanks to God for who he is. We're giving thanks to God for what he has done, and we're giving thanks to God for what he is currently doing. There's a difference. Past tense, present tense. And then the last verse goes back to giving thanks to God, to the God of heaven, going back to giving thanks to God for who he is. These are just the things that came to mind as I read through this morning. The what we're giving thanks for and the why we're giving thanks for it. Because his loving kindness endures forever. And that word loving kindness is the Hebrew word hesed, and it has loving kindness is a good translation of it. It does mean that, but it's a deeper, richer meaning than that, and that can't be captured necessarily in one English word. That's why I wanted to bring up the parallel. Um, the King James says, "His mercy endureth forever." The the LSB that we've been studying says his loving kindness endures forever, but the one I really like the most is the English Standard. That's the one in the middle column on the screen. It says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever." That really kind of sets that tone that this love of God is not going anywhere. It's anchored, it's steadfast, and this is why we're thanking him. Right? He is who he is, and it never changes. He's done what he's done because his steadfast, his anchored, his rooted, his ain't going anywhere love endures forever. And what he's currently doing, and then again back to who he is. This is this is a psalm of praise to God. And the first half of each verse indicates something that we are to be thanking God for. The second half is the why. Why are we thanking God for this? And it's because of his steadfast, unchanging love. These are just the things that came to my mind this morning, and it just brings more praise rather than reading this as okay, this is a psalm that repeats the same phrase over and over and over again to the point where you kind of glaze your eyeballs over and just read them out of duty to say that you did it. Really think about what this is saying and look into this word that's translated mercy, steadfast love, loving kindness. It could also be covenant faithfulness, could be another translation of it. Faithfulness could be another translation of it. These are the qualities of the God who's done these things and that this psalm was written about. I hope this helps you. It was sure a blessing to me to read this morning. Um, thank you for listening.